Tom Fox, and I'd like to welcome you to the Kerrville Weekly News for the week ending Saturday, December 14th. I'm going to be taking a solo turn today as both Gilbert and Andrew are on assignment. So I have several stories I've been looking at. Today, they mainly come from the Kerrville Daily Times. The first is an on-demand bus service is coming to Kerrville in January. It will be available then through an agreement between the city and the Alamo Regional Transit, known as ART. The free service is limited to Kerrville residents who can call for a pickup or use a mobile app to request a service. The director of ART, our senior director, estimated the on-demand service could provide an additional 5,400 trips in the first year. In addition to ART's regular ridership program in Kerrville, it logged 7,600 trips last year. So great news for those who want a bus service to San Antonio. Unfortunately, cedar fever season has kicked off across Texas, so it's time to brace again. Cedar fever is an allergic reaction to pollen released by mountain cedar trees. Unfortunately, you don't have to be allergic to it for it to affect you. In Texas, prominent species of mountain cedar is the ash juniper, making cedar fever especially irritating in the hill country where we live. It can be irritating to many due to the quality and density of the junipers in central Texas that produce the pollen. The pollen isn't particularly allergic or allergenic or harmful, but its concentration irritates you. I'm one of those lucky people that have bad allergies, so this is my time of the year. Next up, Schreiner University has named a new VP of Enrollment Management. Alan Liebert has come on board. He brings a career spanning more than 3 decades in higher education enrollment and marketing. Most recently, he was the Vice President of Enrollment, Marketing, and Communication at Texas Wesleyan University. There, he spearheaded initiatives that significantly increased student enrollment, improved retention rates, and elevated the university's brand recognition. In his new role at Schreiner, he will oversee admissions, financial aid, student recruitment packages, as well as marketing and communication efforts to engage prospective students. So welcome, Alan Liebert. Be a great addition to the team at Schreiner. Our next story, this is something that I'm sure will be near and dear to the heart of Andrew, as the article's entitled Trout Fishing in Kerrville, as the Texas Parks and Wildlife will conduct 2 stockings of rainbow trout around Kerrville. The first will be in January, and the second the first will be next week, and the second will be in January. The trout are provided for everyone's benefit, and anglers over the age of 17 who have a license will be lucky enough to fish in this. Andrew is a big fisher person on the Guadalupe River. He likes to do a little more upstream, but I'm sure it will be a big boon for him no matter where he fishes. Next up, K-Pub is going to update the city on the power plans. This has been a huge story that we've been following quite a bit over the last couple of months at the Kerrville Daily News, our Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. So K-Pub is going to update the city on its power plant, and it will be a great news going forward. We have a really big weekend for many holiday and seasonal events in Kerrville, and I hope you'll take the opportunity to check out one or more of those. One of the more interesting ones is a play called A Sherlock Carol, where Ebenezer Scrooge has died, and Tiny Tim seeks the help of Sherlock Holmes to see what has happened to him, if it was nefarious or not. So that's a really unique twist on any Sherlock Holmes story. And as a Sherlockian, and I hope we have some listening, check it out. The Nutcracker returns as the Caillou Theater is offering a multi-generational tradition of the holiday season with a Nutcracker Ballet. The show is sponsored by Edward Jones, and with their support, the Nutcracker ticket prices are really family-friendly, from as low as $5, and tickets are still available. Of course, the great Christmas classic, A Christmas Carol, is back in town, playing at Ingram. And the 3 final performances are this weekend. It's truly one of the top things or top plays or top any events of the Christmas season. And finally, the Doyle Center plans a Christmas party on Wednesday, December 18th from 3 to 7. So check out more of these events and have a great weekend and safe as well. This is Tom Fox. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I hope you will subscribe or rate and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. I hope you'll join Gilbert, Andrew, and myself next week where we take a look at some of the top stories from Kerrville and the surrounding Hill Country area. Thanks so much for listening.